So we are back here with another video, man, and we just need to talk about some things today because, of course, everyone's in a frenzy about the content that we got today. And I get it to a certain extent, I do. But a theme that is continuing is number one, these are the worst rewards that we've ever gotten in regards to the pink, which we're going to completely debunk that claim today. We're going to look back at past games, and after I looked back at past games, what we were getting at this point in the year, 2K21, 2K20, games like that, I knew that it was less rewarding. I knew that we were getting less, but it was actually alarming how bad it was. And then we see everyone looking back at those games like, oh, it's the most rewarding games ever. We're 2K20, 2K. We're going to get into all of that, man. And we're going to be debunking that claim. Another claim that I am seeing is this is the worst game for no money spent. I mean, we're going to debunk all of that. So make sure to stay tuned. We're going to go through and look back at what we were getting at this exact point in past 2Ks, like in the middle of October. And I think that you guys are going to be very, very surprised. I was surprised. Like I said, I knew it was less rewarding, but it is absolutely insane at the rate of how much less rewarding it was, man. So first of all, let's talk about the challenges. I'm going to make a video later talking about how content creators are ruining my team because I truly believe that they are. So we look at the pack content, right? This is kind of the whole Wemby thing. Like, it's kind of an L. There's over 40 pink diamonds that are pullable. The chance of pulling Wemby, very, very low. They should have dropped Wemby in a Friday promo. That would have felt a lot more fair and a lot less like a slap in the face. So I understand that. But if we're looking at pink diamond Jokic, everyone was like, oh, he's going to be 10 or 15 million MT. He's like 5 million MT to lock in. That's still, you definitely shouldn't do it. It's still expensive. I get it. But if we're looking at the other lock-ins in comparison and everything, it's really not that ridiculous. And he's also not as overpowered as everyone said that he was going to be either. So we have a lot of complaints going on with the challenges that were dropped today. First of all, people were saying that, it looks like they're not going to do these. They're right here. We've got the free Ruby, free Emerald, free. And what is the big deal if we don't have these? Like, you can literally go and buy the Ruby that you want. Like Ruby Brian Scalabrine, for example. We talked about him in the budget video. He's like 15K MT. I'd rather get 15K MT from playing the game for like half an hour or less and go and buy Brian Scalabrine than get some random Ruby and probably pull somebody that's horrible. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but that's kind of my opinion on that whole thing. So the whole thing where it didn't look like they were going to include these and the sky was falling because of that, I just don't get that, man. And then these challenges, why are these getting complained about? Like, I truly don't understand it. You can get stats from all of these different teams, which you should have at least a few players from these teams if you've been playing the game at any rate at all. Plus, you're getting MT multipliers and you're getting a legend badge if you complete all of them. I think that that's a W. I don't see why that's getting complained about. And then we have this where if you've been grinding breakout all year, you probably have some of these teams completed or are at least very close to the point where you're not going to have to spend much MT to lock in a lot of these sets. Plus, if you do that, you can trade out, like if you get a non-auctionable version of the player later, you can trade it out for the auctionable version, sell that, and then you'll be making MT later in the year by doing that if you obtain some of these cards from breakout later, whatever the case may be, man. So if you go ahead and lock them in, plus you're getting Diamond Danny Granger, Diamond Surge, and Pink Diamond Dikembe, who are all very usable and make a lot of people's teams. So for each one of these teams that you lock in, you have an opportunity for a Hoff badge. Major, major W. And if you complete all of these again, you get a Legend badge. So I don't know why this is getting complained about. Like, everyone's looking at this as like a money grab and everything. If you've played even a little bit of Breakout, man, you've got some players from these teams, okay? And you've got some rubies. They've been giving out those ruby packs all year long. It's not like you're going to have to go and spend, 50K on every single one of the rubies. You'll maybe have to, buy some, and they're not even that expensive. They're not nearly as expensive as they used to be. Maybe they'll go up a little bit, but I don't understand the complaints with this. I don't see how this is an L at all. I really, really don't get it at all, man. And everyone's just going to complain about everything. That is the point that we are at. That is why I said I'm going to make a video later probably talking about why creators are ruining my team, because it doesn't matter what they drop, people are complaining about it. I understand the complaints with Jokic. I understand the complaints with Wemby. I do. I think that they're a little bit blown out of proportion. But the complaints with these challenges, dude, like really? How are these bad? Like in any way? And if you can't do them, so what? You're probably not in a position where Hall of Fame and Legend badges are going to mean anything anyway, because if you can't do them, you're probably not in a position where you have really good cards where you can add the badges to add value to them anyway. So it doesn't make any sense. Not everything has to be for everyone in this game. It's never been like that. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and look back at some of the past Myteams, and these all of the complaints, people are telling me that I'm an idiot saying that these aren't the worst rewards ever. People are telling me that I'm so dumb because the past games used to be way more rewarding. Let's look at what we got at this point last year. Or this point, not last year, but this point of the year in past years at the exact same time. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so in NBA 2K21, which these were the equivalent of the mode rewards, right? Were the triple threat online and triple threat offline rewards. That was kind of the equivalent. You know who we had last year? Or not last year. I don't know why I keep saying last year. I apologize. You know who we had in 2K21 in triple threat offline and triple threat online at this point in the year? In triple threat online, we had Diamond Sven Nader, who had a 53 ball, a 75 driving dunk, and a 52 speed. Unusable. And I couldn't even find anyone making any videos on him because he was that bad. That is the reward we had for triple threat online. So, and then for triple threat offline, we had Diamond Dave Bing, who I was able to get. He had a 60 driving dunk. Sure, driving dunk didn't matter as much in 2K21. I get that. The rest of his stats look okay, but he had a freaking set shot. And if we look at, this card here, there's a Pink Diamond Wild Gem Dave Bing. Where is he at? Come on, Dave Bing, where are you at, brother? There he is. We are looking at a 60 drive. So pretty much the same freaking card, it looks like here. So the rewards at this point in the year in 2K21 specifically were way worse. Like Mitch Richmond blows both of those cards out of the water. So does Wes Unseld as well. So the rewards in 2K21 were worse. And then, now we're going to start talking about triple threat online. I was looking at some boards, like what the boards looked like at this point in the year in 2K20 specifically, right? So everyone kind of remembers you could get 10 wins, you could level up, your boards would get better as you moved on, right? This is a board for your 5th win, which keep in mind when you're moving up this board, you can't take 3 losses or you reset completely. This is the 5th board. And it was like a ball drop, like how we have in Breakout now, right? Like you can get a breakout, you can get a prize game that's a ball drop. I got one right here. So anyway, after 5 wins, the ball drop in triple threat online, the rewards that you could get in the spots that you could drop the ball were 100 MT, 100 MT, and 250 MT. Horrible. Absolutely horrendous. And with this ball drop, I can't remember exactly what I got from this ball drop, but it was probably like, either a free agent pack or 1,000 MT, which most of the free agents, if you've been just keeping them throughout the year, you can quick sell them for 1,000 MT. Or maybe it was an unauctionable league pack, which if you, get some good things out of that, that could be 1,000 MT as well. Or maybe a badge pack. Some of the badges are worth, well over 1,000 MT. So way, way better. And it's not even like particularly close. Like it's like 1,000 times better. So that was, and then we had a ball drop. This was the top ball drop at this point last year, where you were getting 5 balls and it was after 10 wins, which keep in mind, it was a little sweaty. You weren't going to get 10 wins every single time, right? And this was after over an hour of grinding. The top board on Triple Threat Online in 2K20 at this point in the year gave Witness 2K 100 MT, 200 MT, 3 tokens or 2 tokens. And 3 tokens was about the equivalent of 300 MT. 2 tokens was about the equivalent of 200 MT. So horrible. If you're telling me that that's more rewarding, you are so out of touch, I don't even know what to say to you. I truly don't. And Witness 2K also made a video of grinding 1 hour of Triple Threat Online, and he made 5 KMT in 1 hour. If you play Breakout for 1 hour this year, you're making over 40 KMT. People are wondering why cards are more expensive. That's why cards are more expensive. Sorry, I'm not trying to raise my voice, but it's just like after looking at this and what people have said to me personally, what people have just said in general, like, come on, dude, what are we talking about? Okay, let's see what other screenshots I took here. Okay, everyone's complaining about, the lack of free packs and everything. So I was looking at the ladder awards in Triple Threat Online in 2K20. If you got to 1,000 wins, you got Galaxy Opal Dominique, which that was pretty cool. I would like to see something like that again this year. Maybe if you get to 1,000 Triple Threat wins, you get some random pink diamond. Doesn't even have to be that juiced. I'd like to see that. Of course I would you know? But the latter awards were all MT and tokens. There wasn't any free packs. And the vault at this point in the year in 2K20, we already talked about 2K21, had 500 MT, 1,000 MT, 10 tokens, 5 tokens, a league pack, and Diamond Cliff Hagen. Diamond Cliff Hagen is not even close to as good as any of the pink diamonds we just got. And keep in mind, with this vault in Triple Threat Online, a Triple Threat Offline in 2K20, it would not open every game. There was a chance you could play 5 games and it opened once. Okay, let's move on. Okay, in NBA 2K21, we had a pink diamond Cade Cunningham, who was one of the best cards in the game. You had to lock in well over a million MT to get pink diamond Cade Cunningham. You did. And no one had anything, no one was ranting like they are now about that at the time. That was in 2K23. I might have said 2K21 previously. I apologize. And then we're looking at 2K22, which 2K22 is looked at as the most player friendly, the most rewarding Myteam of all time, the prime of Myteam, blah 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 blah. Pink Diamond Joel Embiid. You know how you got Pink Diamond Joel Embiid in 2K22? You had to rip the limited edition packs, and he was only available for a specific amount of time. So pretty much the equivalent of what we are seeing now, where Joel Embiid is pretty well unattainable without either grinding your butt off or spending money on this game. There was all kinds of limited edition inserts that they did, man, and it was desirable players. Pink Diamond Zion, Pink Diamond Russell Westbrook. Everyone acts like, oh, every card was attainable in 2K22. Not necessarily. And then we move on, continuing to look at 2K22. We had the whole thing on Halloween where there was the masked versions of players and the unmasked versions. The masked versions were way harder to pull. There was like 3 masked Kevin Durant's on the auction house, and there was like 20 unmasked versions. And then we go down to we continue to look here, and there was a point in 2K22 where they had those primetime sets, right? Which they dropped the primetime sets on Tuesdays, I believe in Season 1 and in Season 2. And the packs were openable with MT, so objectively they were better than the Wild Gems packs. But they did something very, very scummy at the end of Season 2 with the last primetime drop, right? There was a Pink Diamond Kevin Johnson, who was an undersized point guard, pretty much unusable. And then they dropped a Moments Pink Diamond Devin Booker, who everybody wanted at the end of Season 2 in 2K22. They raised the pack odds for these packs specifically. The odds went from a sub 2% for a Pink Diamond to just a flat 2%, right? So that got people to open up packs, including myself. I was like, okay, 2% flat. I'm going to open up a couple 20 boxes. I'm going to see if I can pull Devin Booker. And I also opened up probably, I don't know, probably honestly close to 100 packs. Well, these 2 cards were available total. And I pulled 3 Kevin Johnsons and no Devin Bookers. And the amount of Kevin Johnson was a buyout as a Pink Diamond. He might have been the first buyout Pink Diamond that we had seen. It was similar to the Tony Parker situation last year, where there was a million Kevin Johnsons and like 5 Devin Bookers. So that was very bad. And if they did raise the pack odds in today's game, that's exactly what would happen. You're still not going to pull the best cards. And then in NBA 2K21, we had a Pink Diamond Dr. J. You want to know how you got Pink Diamond Dr. J? You had to lock in 5 separate sets in Season 1. You had to lock in 5 separate sets. It was well over a million MT, And we've already highlighted how well over a million MT is like almost 10 million MT this year with how much easier it is to make MT. It just is. So keep that in mind, first of all. You had to lock in 5 separate sets, MT that you're never getting back. If you buy Pink Diamond Dr. J this year, you can sell them at any point and get most of your MT back. So that's first of all. And nobody complained about this at the time. I watched a gameplay that Ty did, and he just did it without even complaining about, oh, this is unattainable for no, just a constant rant. That's all that all videos are these days. And it was never like that. And the game was pretty much the same, actually objectively worse because it was less rewarding. So yeah, Dr. J was pretty much unattainable in NBA 2K21. Plus, it was a giant lock-in. So Dr. J this year is more attainable, first of all, and second of all, you're not losing your MT. And this was a comment that I saw that we need to talk about because this is something that is just very strange to me. Everybody's acting like, oh, I've had the same team since week 1 and they're not dropping any better cards and the content as a whole is just an L every week. Like everyone says, every Friday drop is an L. Do you remember when? So let me just read the comment. I stopped playing 2K for a week and came back and felt like my team can't even compete. But it was God tier about a week ago. This was such a big problem in past 2Ks. They would outdo themselves on every single Friday, and everyone had a problem with that. And now we're looking at the game how it is now. The pacing is probably the best that it has ever been up to this point because you could have gotten, cards on day 1 that still play. They still play, that you can still have just as much success with them as you can now. And now we're going to act like that's a bad thing? Like, I don't get it, dude. I don't understand it at all. And everyone looks back at, oh, Pink Diamond Steph Curry, who was the level 40 award in season 1 of 2K21. Everyone looks back at him and says, oh, best level 40 reward ever. The game was so rewarding back then. You could just go and get him for free. Good luck getting Pink Diamond Steph Curry level 40 for free in 2K21 because there was challenges specific to players in each promo drop. So there would be a challenge for Pink Diamond Kawhi. If you complete it, you get like 5,000 XP. And you had to get 150,000 XP to get Pink Diamond Curry. So if you did get the best cards in each promo, if you did rip packs, you had a massive advantage. And it was actually, attainable to get Pink Diamond Steph Curry. Getting Pink Diamond Steph Curry no money spent, the level 40 reward in season 1 and 2K21 was dang near impossible unless you spent like 12 hours a day on the game. It just was, dude. And everyone looks back and glorifies that. We've already talked about with the Pink Diamond Giannis in 2K20 with the spotlights. Everyone looks back at that as a free card. Oh, it was such a W and we got stuff like this. You had to get an entire set to get him. So it's just, it doesn't make any sense, man. And I feel like I say that every video these days because a lot of the complaints that I'm seeing, people are acting like this is way worse than it used to be. No, it's really not. You're just either out of touch or you're forgetting how the game used to be. And now we're looking at level 40 this season. Chris Bosh is one of the best cards in the entire game. We've already talked about how this card moves like a freaking point guard. And you can get him for free without even having to grind anything insane. And you don't have to go and do all these specific challenges and get specific cards. Like, why are people acting like that was good? Everybody hated that at the time. And now everyone's asking for challenges like that back. So we really something needs to happen in the content creator space. And we're going to talk about this in my next video, but I think there's going to start to be a shift. We saw a shift happen in 2K19, 2K20, where a lot of people quit, new content creators came in. That's going to happen again soon because this is not coming from these content creators. This is not coming from a place of, oh, the game is, truly way worse than it's ever been. It's coming from burnout is what it is. And it's coming from being out of touch. Nobody plays this game, so nobody knows how rewarding it is. And it's coming from just straight burnout because we're looking back on these past games, and it happens in every gaming community. Everybody looks back at the past games and thinks, oh, this game was way better. And whereas if you go ahead and take a break for a while and then start to crave the game again, you come back and you realize how good it really is. So, I mean, come on. What in the world are we doing, man? What are we actually doing? And I don't understand it from a content creator's perspective. Actually, I'm going to quit talking about that because I'm going to make a different video. But anyway, this video, hopefully this, helped you guys understand why I say that this is the most rewarding Myteam ever. If anybody tells you that the past Myteams were less rewarding, just ignore them because it's just from being out of touch, and it really doesn't make any sense when you go back and look at the past games. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, as well as leave a like on the video, man. Both those things really, really help me out. They bring more viewers to my channel, which really, really is just huge for me, man, at this point. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video.